Kenny, do you have to just put down last week as a bad day at the office now and move forward?
No, I don't think you can just dismiss it. It doesn't work like that. But obviously, in terms of our players back four, we had two lads out of had operations and a suspension, and obviously, childbirth as well. So a lot hit us at one stage. Now we've still got, I think, enough then to be able to cope and cope better than we did, but. There's a big thing for sort of being fluid in football and consistency and playing together and playing regularly, and it ended up in terms of a disjointed performance. I felt, particularly in the second half, because we'd taken the lead, unbelievable own goal, from Ellis, but still we've gone in, 1-1 at half time, and I'm optimistic for the second half. But then we give some really poor goals away, and it resulted in us then getting nothing out of the game. But we have to, be honest with ourselves in terms of what we want to do. We still felt we were capable of doing better than we were last week, and most importantly now, we want to not be as open as we were last week. That's a big thing, because we were very open as a side, and while we had a lot of attacking players playing, that's not always the best thing in terms of, when goals go against you, then you lose confidence very, very quickly, because we had a lot of ball players playing and forward players. But the balance of the side, I do feel, has to be addressed. But most importantly, anyway, we have a chance to try to bounce back as a group, and you don't come any bigger than Ipswich Town, who've come down out of the Championship at home, followed by Wycombe. So great crowds and good opportunity for us. One or two adjustments, yes, not too many though, and see if we can bed down some partnerships again.
One would assume you'll have Christian and Ollie back for playing.
We will, which is good, very good. And obviously Lee and Brandon, both operations at the same time, and they're likely to be back around about February, I think, at some stage in February. So that will soon come around, and they'll be welcome additions. But until then, we have to make sure that we can get a back four together and a midfield unit at the right time that can give them protection, that can sustain us and keep us in games. Because I certainly think we've got the forwards.
Is it all about reaction from last week now?
It is. We do want a good reaction. We don't want to, be naive in terms of, what last Saturday, because we lost the game. But similarly, you have to somewhere along the line learn from it and address, any issues the team needs, and then come out firing and fighting for what is a big home game. And over a Christmas period where there's a lot of games, 4 games in a short space of time, a lot of points to be played for, and at a club like Portsmouth, some fantastic momentum to be gained by good and consecutive wins if we can get them.
2 leading sides at Fratton Park within days. That's going to tell you something, isn't it?
It is, and they're big games, and they're great games to play in. They're big challenges, obviously. And as I say, Ipswich coming down out of the champ have one of the favourites, and rightly so. You look in recent seasons, it's always been the case. The sides coming down out of the champ, few and far between where they haven't been contending, and Ipswich are, and they will be by the end. We know that, and we understand that. But similarly, we want to be contending as well. So it's an opportunity to try to put ourselves against one of the big sides as we go into January, and then make sure that we can put on a performance that bring I think a fantastic crowd into play.
Talking about players coming back, Jack Watmore actually got 60 minutes out there today. He even scored a goal.
He did, yeah, and it's good to see him back. He won't be selected this weekend, but he's ever closer. And we've had lots of in-house situations where he's really been tested on that knee, and as you say, today was one on the big pitch, very very wet, very heavy, but sometimes it's like that, and you have to come through that as a footballer. And he's come up and come through every test, and so far, and is there or thereabouts now in terms of being ready, which is very good. And as and when he does play centre back for us, it'll obviously be a good addition.
So Burgess and Hawkins back in contention, Lee and Brandon out for the foreseeable future. Anybody else?
No, that's it. And after that, we're the same group. There won't be any changes in terms of personnel either in or out.
January just around the corner. Do you have anything definite in mind that might happen?
Yeah, there's obviously areas that I want to strengthen, but similarly, we do want to be able to make a difference as well. And we are working hard, yes, at trying to address any sort of imbalance in the squad, which is always number one, which happens along the way, and then number two, sort of target areas to try to improve and get better.
And I suppose Christmas doesn't really happen for football players and football managers, does it? You just go on regardless.
Yeah, I think Christmas does, but football is a part of it, and it's a great part of it. Always should be, whether you're a manager, a player, or a spectator. It's a tradition. It's terrific, and it's part of Christmas, I think, and should be enjoyed.